So thank you very much for joining this AMA. We are really thrilled. I mean, the team is here for you, and we received many questions. We will try to answer them one by one. And also we have some news for you. So I think we will share them, especially on the data crunch side. They have some news. Okay, so let's start now. So we can start with a question from, I think it's a correlator question. Thank you for your question, correlator. There have been lots of suggestion discussion for improvements by user and team, but there has been no change in the tournament rules based on those inputs. So no, there is no engagement. What are the plans to include some feedback and new changes to crunch tournament? Jean, do you want to take this question? Who wants to take this question?
Yeah, well, I can start. I think I don't have the same feeling. Currently, actually, the engagement on the platform is really increasing. The community size doubled, right?
Yes, but in the last 6 months.
Yeah. So, well, I don't share this feeling on the engagement, and maybe Ben, you have numbers. Now, regarding change, it's always kind of a difficult decision or threshold between making a lot of changes and making and keeping people engaged. So we could make a lot of small incremental changes, but right now we feel that it was better to do a big update with all the new announcement that we already done, with a new master data set that is coming, that is actually in Bounty right now. Matteo has been communicating on this new set of features. There is 600 new features. It's a completely different data set that's about to be released, and we wait for your feedbacks on this data set. There is new tools also. Matteo has been building this orthogonalizer in the train function in the objective function of the models to make sure that you guys can be aligned with the risk model. So that's just an amazing work. Maybe Matteo, after you can say a few words about this. This is huge because it can really align you with some data that you usually don't have. And all these changes are about to happen. Now, we believe that it was better to make this big chunk of changes in one update. So you don't have to change your model every week, right? That's the first thing. Then second thing, making change is very tricky because it's not because something has been done by some other people that is the right decision. Sometimes decision needs time and there is research behind. Mathematical concept needs to be proven, and sometimes research take a bit more time than just what you can see out there, just a new UX or a tournament update. The goal is to make as minimum change as possible. So you guys, and just the right changes. So you guys have to update your model one time and for good, I think that's all for me. Maybe on the engagement, Ben, and maybe Matteo for that.
So on the engagement, I can actually give you the number because the number don't lie. We have doubled the size of the community within the last 6 months, and the engagement doubled as well. So it's not just that the size, but also the engagement rate. So I believe everything is great. Maybe in September, because we had the Adia Lab competition that ended mid-August, maybe we decreased a bit in engagement, but not that much. And we are still higher than before the Adia Lab competition. So maybe this is this feeling that is coming from the fact that we have only one competition, but otherwise it's not confirmed by the numbers. On the news.
Yeah, I don't know if we can start directly on that, but yeah. So the modifications we propose now are the ones that after countless hours of research we felt were the most urgent and important to implement, and these are the ones that are being discussed now. And then of course there is a roadmap and things to be done at a higher level, but let's say to secure the performance of the alpha generated by the tournament more and more, there is a clear internal roadmap, let's say, that the release we are discussing today, and that's out since a week, I guess, was paramount. So to go into it in a few minutes, as Jean anticipated, the idea is for you to be able to interact with a risk framework without being able to, let's say, retro-engineer it. There was quite some research in order to be able to do this. That the math is based on matrix perturbation theory. And so basically, let's say before everything else, you have to know that the data crunch portfolio manager is defining risk in a statistical sense using linear factors. And these vectors of information are really important vectors, valuable vectors, let's say, that are used indirectly, have been used in the last several months indirectly in modeling the training targets and also the scoring targets. And actually, there was a bit of an overlap in the past on this because we wanted to do research on what was the optimal training and test target. We converged to an answer on both. Actually, I mean, for the training target, the definition of noise, the definition of trend is bias itself. So it's an unsupervised step of the modeling part. And so because we cannot share everything, we can share a set of training targets, and each target is optimal for a set of decisions made on the supervised learning task of the tournament. Given that, the scoring target converged to a row return because Spearman correlation to row return is the highest measure. The measure more correlated with the Sharpe of the portfolio. We also are using weekly targets for this scoring. Why? Because even though the weekly target, and this was a question, even though the weekly target is much more noisy than the others, and that's why, by the way, we are giving longer time frame targets for you to train on. Even though they are more noisy, the information coefficient is such that having a more frequent decision making on the optimizer step, this allows us to have a higher Sharpe at the end, higher performance, which is what we care about. So even with less information coefficient, a more dense set of informations compound to a higher performance of the financial product. The improvement, therefore, is that you are now able to soon train and now only validate. Jean anticipated that we want you to be able to train and have the gradient basically with respect to this orthogonalizer in the loop. It's not implemented yet, but it will be out before the, let's say, the putting in production this bounty. It was actually one of the questions from Lucas. But now for sure you can validate your models on this loss. And this alignment really brings together the alpha judgment of the supervised learning task, which is the tournament, and the performance of the portfolio.
Thank you very much, Matteo. I think I found a way to enable the chat. If you can just click on who can see your message on the bottom right here. Yes, everyone. Perfect. Yeah. I think now you can chat. Hello, everyone. Okay, thank you very much, Matteo. So these two new features that are actually almost out, I mean, that are being tested as we speak.
Yeah.
Correlator. So maybe you didn't see it, but yeah, we are on it. Another question, maybe this one for Arnaud. How much runway do we have? Any plans to fundraise in the near future?
So this question relates to the future of CrunchDAO and the financing of CrunchDAO. Besides Adialab, we've been talking to a few potential clients, mainly hedge funds, large hedge funds, and we have a commercial pipeline of $5 million. If you put all this together, we really have no issue of a runway. I mean, any of these potential, I would say, future is just sufficient for CrunchDAO to be profitable. And we have basically our run rate is really low. The team is not really. I mean, we're a team of 6, and we are not that expensive. So actually, from a financial standpoint, we are very strong. I hope I answered the question.
Maybe the commit that we have. Cool.
The commit is a $5 million commit that we have on the table.
Yeah, so we can call it when we want, but probably we don't need it. Okay. Next question. How do you plan to address the late payout issue? And how do you plan to address the late scoring issue? So on the second part, the late scoring issue, I don't see any late scoring issue on DataCrunch. On Adia Lab, yes, there has been 2 weeks with maybe 48 hours delay in the scoring because it was the first out of sample and we didn't foresee some small issues that needed to be patched, but now it's down, so there will be no delay. I mean, since I think 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it's more than 3 weeks now. It's every Monday, so there is no delay. On DataCrunch,
maybe Ben, on this for the Adia Lab, we had this. You guys need to remember that we are operating a very huge infrastructure behind. There is 3,000 GPUs that are being connected. There is the code of the 400 selected models that are being called every week that produce this prediction. It's quite an heavy workload. The first week have been a bit bumpy, but also we had these late changes that we had to make in the documentation, and we took an extra time to make sure that people that were impacted by this change that we could fix their case and that they could participate. That was very important for us, that everyone could be able to be scored after 3 months of work, and I think right now almost every particular case have been fixed.
Yeah. And on DataCrunch, I'm not aware that there were some late scoring issues. So on the late payout issues, that's definitely an issue that we see, and we receive many messages with beautiful memes. Thank you very much. I think we will give some tokens for the reward for the best meme. I think we can do this because it's something that we say since a few months now, and we want to do this meme competition. So I think we have few that we can reward. But yes, it was a problem. So the first thing is that we wanted to be sure, because it was a big payout. It was the August payout plus the Adia Lab reward payout for the special rewards, let's say. And we onboarded many new members, and we wanted to be sure that everyone was going to be rewarded. Now we understand that it's boring for people that are here since months, that know how it works. But I can tell you that when someone forgets to connect his wallet and he's coming back 1 month after to ask you something, sometimes like he's not happy and it's difficult. So we need to manage these expectations, and we need to be sure that everyone gets its fair share of rewards. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that when everything was ready for the last payout, we were actually wiring the rewards, and it just did not work because Etherscan changed some things, so we were not able to wire the rewards. Now it's fixed, but since we are the 28th of September, it's members actually on the Discord that suggested to pay the 2 payouts for August and September at the same time, and the Adia Lab rewards. So we will pack everything, and we will wire everything in a few days. We are ready. You see the payout list is ready. Now also we have been asked to make sure that the payout would go every beginning of the month, and we have this in mind. But also we need to control that everything is correct. It's very important. So yes, we will work on that for sure. But the main point is that everyone gets rewarded every month and takes its fair share. That's what we want for everyone. Okay. Now we have another question, I think for Arnaud. How does the meta model perform?
Yeah. So that's the question. I think the question is more than the meta model is the training of the hedge fund. And this is, I mean, we have to understand that CrunchDAO is a community that brings puts together researchers and financial institutions, and we're gonna have more clients coming in besides Adia Lab. And so Dr. Crunch is a client, and in the context of CrunchDAO, we're not discussing the performance of DataCrunch, but it will be just public whenever DataCrunch will make it public. So for now, it's not public, and so there's no information on that.
Thank you. It's clear. What is...
Sorry, I just thought now that I see Jeremy's message, I remembered he asked me something that maybe about the orthogonal CLI of the DataCrunch competition. As we speak, we are implementing the possibility for you to have as an hyperparameter the degree of orthogonalization to the shared risk basis. Because as we said, that it's not obvious that, yeah, exactly. I just see Jeremy's message again on this. Yes. Let's say that the optimal, I mean, we have an optimal hyperparameter for the scoring, so for the test set evaluation, but it's not clear in the same way which the training target can be different from the test target. It's not obvious that the optimal orthogonalization in the training phase is the same as the test one. And so we are just doing a patch and releasing the new Python package with the possibility of specifying the coefficients of orthogonalization.
But Jeremy only wants to, for example, be able to be orthogonal, like say 6%.
Yeah.
So you can put this in the optimizer.
Yeah, the default values will be the same as the ones that are going to be used for the test set scoring, but you can play with it and even put infinite, basically, big number and not have an effect using this.
Okay, thank you very much. What is the status of the roadmap on the homepage? Jean, do you want to take the question or should I?
Yeah, I can. I mean, we have been making some great progress on the roadmap. I think we are above expectation on many points, and we are currently updating it with what is going to happen in the next months. We have been in contact with new customers now, like Arnaud was mentioning. We have been in contact with institutional, with the Adia Lab tournament. We learned a lot about the industry that we are in, and all this is going to infuse in the vision and the roadmap. So for this, I don't know if we can reveal everything right now, but there will be an updated version of the roadmap that will be published very soon.
Yes, and we will communicate on these specific points in a few weeks. I think we will do a specific AMA to showcase this new roadmap that we have. And it's true that we need to communicate, we need to communicate on this new roadmap. So I can understand the question, totally. Do you have any plans to update the information regularly to the community? I guess this one is for me. So we are having an Ask Me Anything session every month or 2 months. And we have newsletters that are out every week. We give you everything. The new master, the orthogonalizer, the new competition, the scoring, the fact that we are in New York, the fact that we are launching quant clubs. And everything is in the newsletter. Everything is in the Ask Me Anything session. Also, we publish some news on Twitter and on LinkedIn. So we try to be as most exhaustive as we can, but we are not perfect for sure. If you have any other questions, any other suggestions to how we could communicate better, just come and talk to us on the Discord, because it's very important. We just want that everyone gets on board. It's very difficult to make sure that 5,000 people are knowing everything at the same time. And yeah, so that's the difficulty here, and we try to communicate as best as possible. And we have one last question, which is a great question. Why are you launching quant clubs? So as you saw, we are launching quant clubs a bit everywhere. in Paris, in London, in New York, in Bangalore, in Bengaluru, in Bandung, in Dubai. We had the inaugural meeting of the Paris Quant Club on the 13th of September. It was amazing. We met so many people we didn't know and that did not even talk on the Discord. So it was one of the first time personally for me, in Paris that I was meeting so many people from CrunchDAO. So it was great. The Quant Club in London will be on the 26th of October. And it's Tero that is community lead. It's a member of the community and he's doing a fantastic work on the Quant Club in London. We are also having the Quant Club launch. Theoretically, it's not sure yet, but it should be on the 10th of November or 11th of November. We are not sure yet. We have Bangalore opening as well, end of the month. And we have Dubai that I think it will be end of November, starting December. And we have Bandung. Bandung, I think I will have its city with community lead over there. We are talking to her tomorrow. So we'll have some news. And why are we doing this? First, because we love to meet you. Second, because we believe that having offline events is an enabler for the engagement on the Discord. So correlator, that's also a part of your questions. And we want to create a real quant club where you can build relationship. It's not just about research, papers, and discussions. Of course it is. Of course we will discuss we'll have these academic talks. But the main goal is building relation between the 5 continents, basically. And as some of you suggested to open quant clubs in Africa, it's totally in the roadmap. There is the Nigeria that is pushing for having the quant club in Nigeria. We would be really happy to do so, but we have already 6 quant clubs to launch. So just forgive us for not being able to go faster, but it's on the roadmap. So we are not forgetting this. We are good on the question that we have been asked. Do you have any other questions, please? Sorry if we have no chat. It's I don't know why it's not enabled, but there is still the Q&A that you can use, and we will answer everything. And otherwise, I think we are good.
I think we received a new one. I don't see it, but
how was NYC? Wow.
Okay, I also have another one above. I didn't see. Sorry, Jeremy. So actually, the whole story is this iteration of the fitness function.
So just maybe ask a question. So because maybe
maybe someone doesn't see it. Yeah. What about being orthogonal against only a subset of features? Sorry, factors. Okay, let's call it risk dimensions. As I was saying, actually, the design choice of this first iteration is a conservative one. So we are asking the tournament to be orthogonal to a subset of the ones that are powering the portfolio manager. So it's a conservative choice. Also, the degree of orthogonalization is been built with a conservative choice. The idea, let's say, could be to dynamically adjust the degree of neutralization and the number of dimensions against which to be orthogonal. Because even if in the decision of what is risk, there is a prior in defining it. So it could be that the feature space and the nonlinearity that you are capable to model show us that some prior definition of risk is not risky, and the opposite is true. So this is you have to think of this iteration as an initial condition of this way of framing the supervised learning problem. So you are already orthogonal against a subset of features, and we'll see.
The thing that what is very difficult is that if you take into account that the hedge fund is market neutral to all common factors, if your vector, if your prediction has some exposure to some factors, say momentum, but then the optimizer and the portfolio wants to be neutral to this momentum, then whatever you get, whatever information you give about momentum in your vector is actually wiped out, you know. So basically, you think you have a good Spearman rank, or you have a good signal because you think it gives you value or alpha. But if we don't need this alpha because we eliminate this momentum, and tell me if I'm right, Matteo, then basically you end up with very little performance. So you have to be very careful in choosing one factor. So the idea of the optimizer is to keep a little bit of exposure, but it will be like 5% across the factors, right? It will be across the factors. You cannot cherry pick which factor you want to be exposed to or not. I think that's almost like it would be almost another problem and another fun, which would take some exposure to some factors, but then you have to find them and pick them. It's a different solution. It's a macro. It's more of a macro problem than an alternative risk premia problem, I would say.
And we have the other question: how was NYC?
Jet lag, but fantastic. I mean, personally, I've been working in New York twice at Lehman Brothers and a consulting firm called Stan Stewart. And going back to New York had a really extraordinary, excellent vibes. And the people we met obviously are like very extremely smart. So it's really fantastic to be back in New York. We had the chance to meet with the best of Wall Street, and so I cannot tell you too much like which one we met and exactly how it goes. But hopefully, in the next few weeks or months, you'll see names joining the community and playing tournaments. That's the idea.
Yeah. So,
how did you feel about New York?
Oh, great. Yeah, no, jet lag. It's crazy. No, yeah, the ecosystem is really vibrant, and we had great meetings, and we also at the end of the week we went to the Rebellion research conference at Cornell. Insightful speakers. So I think there is a list online on the set of speakers. So yeah, sounds great. No, yeah, it was great.
Okay, great. So I think we can end this Ask Me Anything session since there is no other questions. Thank you very much for attending. This Ask Me Anything session will be on YouTube as well. And if there is something that is not clear, just shoot us an email, send us a message on Discord. You have the general chat, you have the forum, you have everything is at your disposal. So please do so.
Yep.
Thank you very much, and have a great evening, day, or morning.
Thank you very much.